Good morning and welcome to Medicare Made Simple with Medicare Myriam. Medicare Made Simple is brought to you by United Insurance Experts. Call today 561-464-CARE. That's 561-464-CARE. Now here's Medicare Myriam.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Miriam Leva with United Insurance Experts. United Insurance Experts is not affiliated with or endorsed by the government or the federal Medicare program. We do not offer every plan available in your area. Currently in Palm Beach County, we represent 10 organizations which offer 49 products. Please contact Medicare.gov at 1-800-MEDICARE to get information on all of your options. The purpose of the show is to educate you on Medicare and to connect you with valuable resources. So happy Saturday, everyone. I can already feel the turkey vibes in the air. I don't know about you guys, but I'm just so ready, okay? I'm so ready for mashed potatoes okay, let's just get to the point here. So today I will be addressing several changes that will come into effect in 2025. And joining me is a special guest, Reginald Andre. So Andre is the CEO of ARK Solvers, leading South Florida cybersecurity and IT company, serving businesses since 2010, and has been recognized as the fastest growing cybersecurity company in South Florida 3 years in a row. In addition to his professional work, Andre and his wife, Tanya, run the Mavuno Project, a nonprofit which raises awareness about human trafficking and internet safety through education and advocacy. Before I welcome him, let's go over these upcoming Medicare changes for 2025. So the standard monthly premium for Medicare Part B will rise to $185, reflecting an increase of $10.30 from $174.70 in 2024. The annual deductible for all Medicare Part B beneficiaries will be $257 in 2025, which is an increase of $17 from the $240 deductible in 2024. The Part A hospital deductible in 2025 will increase to $1,675, which is an increase of $44 from the $1,632 in 2024. And the coinsurance for hospital inpatient days 61 through 90 will be $419 per day, up from $408 a day. So we are seeing an increase for 2025. Now keep in mind that those that are an Advantage plan might not, the Part B deductible and the Part A deductible might not affect you because you're in a Medicare Advantage plan, but those that are in original Medicare, they're going to be seeing those deductibles. Beginning in 2025, every Medicare plan will feature a $2,000 limit on your out-of-pocket expenses for prescription medications covered by your plan. Once your out-of-pocket cost for these covered drugs hit $2,000, you will automatically qualify for the catastrophic coverage. This means that you will not have any further out-of-pocket cost for covered drugs. Now, I'm saying this very clearly, covered drugs. If the drug is not covered by Medicare or by your plan, then this does not apply. This is only for covered medications for the remainder of the year. So let's just say you're an expensive medication and you meet that catastrophic limit in month 1, then for the rest of the year, you don't have co-pays for covered medications. Now, we're not talking about one medication. We're talking about all your medications that are covered through Medicare. So that's why it's so important with this major change in 2025 that you review your current plan. So if you have a standalone Part D or a Medicare Advantage plan that has Part D integrated, it's super important that you review the plans for 2025 because there are some changes. Again, just to remind you all that notice of change that you received in September will give you details of how your plan is changing for the new year. So I'm still talking to people that have not reviewed their notice of change. Please, it's very important that you review this. If you haven't talked to your agent yet, if you're already working with one or your loved one that they took care of you, please contact them. Make sure that, you're getting that review and that the plan that you currently have still makes sense for 2025. If you're not working with an agent, you're always welcome to call United Insurance Experts at 561-464 2273. That number again is 561-464-CARE, 561-464-2273. So since 2007, the monthly premium for Part B has been determined by the beneficiary's income. Okay, so the total Part B premiums for high-income beneficiaries for 2025 has changed. It has gone up a bit. So I know I mentioned what the Part B premium is, and that's the standard Part B. So I'm going to go over this bracket with you all. So they're looking, what Social Security is looking for is the individual's tax return for modified adjusted gross income. That's what they're looking at. And they're going back 2 years prior. So if we're in 2024, they're looking at 2022's income. So I'm going to go over the individual, but if you file jointly, just double that amount, okay? So if you make less than or equal to $106,000 for the year, and I'm talking about the modified adjusted gross income, then you'll be paying the standard rate of $185 a month for your Part B. If you make greater than $106,000 and less than or equal to $133,000, then you'll be paying $259 for Part B. Now, this is the same Part B everyone's getting. It's based on your income, okay? So greater than $133,000 and less than $167,000, you'll be paying $370 for Part B. Greater than $167,000 and less than $200,000, you'll be paying $480.90 for Part B. Greater than $200,000 and less than $500,000, you'll be paying $591.90 for Part B. Greater than or equal to $500,000, you'll be paying $628.90 for Part B. Okay, now I just went over the individual bracket. If you are filing jointly, then you just double that amount. And this is per person. So if you're making greater than $500,000, let's say filing jointly, right? Greater than or equal to $750,000, then you'll be paying each $628.90 because this is an individual, right? Premium. So once more, if you're concerned about your coverage, please contact your agent, or you're always welcome to call United Insurance at 561-464-2273. So without further delay, let's welcome Andre. Good morning, Andre.
Hi, good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. So tell us a little bit about you and your company.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have been in business since 2010, and the name of our company is ARK Solvers, and we provide cybersecurity and IT support to businesses all over South Florida. In addition to that, my wife and I, her name is Tanya, we have a nonprofit called the Mavuno Project, and we raise awareness on human trafficking, child internet safety, and scammers.
Yeah. Oof, this is huge because every time I look at an email and it says, click on this link, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I start panicking. It's like, don't click the link. Same thing with I'll receive a text message from like FedEx. Click here because we couldn't deliver your package or something like that. It's just so scary out there.
It's literally $1 billion industry, and the bad guys are making a lot of money from us.
It's just, I know, it's a scary world, and we have to, stay aware, right, of what's going on. So what are the most common scams targeting seniors, especially related to Medicare, and how can they protect themselves?
Yeah, so scammers, they're pretending to be from Medicare, requesting personal information like the Medicare or Social Security numbers to quote unquote update, the individual's account or provide a new card. We're also seeing fraudulent billing where some scammers will bill Medicare for services or equipment seniors never receive. And and I'm sure you've also even heard of the free service scams where, you could see free medical tests or health screenings in exchange for personal details. But it's all a scam because what they're just trying to do is trying to have that person on the other end of the phone give up some type of personal identifiable information, name, email address, social, driver license number, credit cards, etc.
Yes, I've definitely heard. I'm glad you mentioned, get the free equipment or get a free gift, because I've heard of this. I've heard actually from my clients say, oh, I got a phone call that, I can get, a free certificate for a restaurant if I fill this out, or I can get free Medicare supplies. And I'm like, no, 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 no. and all they have to do is provide that Medicare number. And that's what
Right.
they have to guard. You have to like guard that Medicare number, just like your Social Security, like you would guard your credit card number, right? Medicare, same thing. You have to guard your Medicare number. And these phone calls from giving you free things, if you give them the number, absolutely not. You could go right ahead and say, hey, it's free. Send it to me, and that's it. Do not provide
Right.
any information.
Right. Right. Don't even give them their address. Like, hey,
Yep.
you should already have my information.
Exactly.
You're Medicare, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, and like you said, Medicare typically doesn't call you. They don't,
Yeah.
unless the only times we really see Medicare calling is if they're calling back, right? If you called in and you made an appointment with them and you have a scheduled appointment with them, but typically Medicare will not call you back.
Right. And another scam that we're seeing is even like you'll see like if you're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, these bad guys will actually put out ads, just going back to those free health screenings, free medical tests. And a lot of times people will think, oh well, it's on Facebook, so it must be true because the Facebook wouldn't allow that. But we're seeing a lot of people also be duped that way as well.
Oh no. Yeah, I wasn't even aware of that. So now they're like putting like an application online, like, hey, fill out this information and get like a free test.
Yeah, it's even easier because it's less humans. Instead of having a human call each person, if I can just put up a fake website, make it look like a legit website, and literally have people go in and just type in everything for me, that's, these hackers, they're lazy. They wanted the easiest path, the least resistance, the easiest path. And if someone is willing to just type in their information and hit the submit button, that's even easier.
Yeah, and it's so scary because, how do you know what's legit nowadays?
Well, definitely, if you have, a question for Medicare, call the 1-800 number that you have on file. Don't call the number on a website. Utilize the portal. Call you. So like there's all those different things. But just unfortunately, we live in a world where we just can't trust what's in front of our eyes.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Especially, this is new to me because I didn't even know they were putting these ads, and I could see how someone could easily say, oh yeah, this must be legit. It's on Facebook or it's on Instagram or, whatever they're using. And now they're actually building websites. So they're actually taking, like, spending money to make it look real, like, professional and actually look legit. So
yeah, this is they wake up thinking, how are we going to scam Americans? This is their business. They have a business model. They have, they're sitting in boardrooms and strategizing and figuring out the best way. And I mean, they've been doing this for the last 10, 20 years. So it must be working because they're continuing to do it.
Yeah. And it's like, and it's changing, it's not only the phone calls now it's online, now it's on Facebook, it's on, it's popping up. It's, emails, of course, when emails were popular, then it was emails. Now it's like ads. They're spending that time, they're targeting you in all ways.
So, and one more thing, one more thing that they're also doing is they're spoofing the caller ID. So they're going to make it seem like it's coming from the Social Security Administration or, Medicare. It's going to say that. And it's going to show up 1-800 number. And they even spoofing the number to make it seem like it's coming from them. And then when you call the number back, of course, you're not actually calling the number that's showing on the call ID. It's actually routing to a different number. Wow. And when they answer the phone the same way. They use the same prompts and so forth like that. So never, you always need to make sure you have on your Rolodex the actual number for Medicare and not any other number that you see online.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that. Yes, that's scary because a lot of people say, oh, yeah, look, at the caller ID says Social Security. It must be Social Security or it must be Medicare. Now, I think, how can people protect themselves? Should they, initiate that call directly to Medicare, or like instead of giving that information out? And like you said, we were talking about this earlier, Medicare should already have your information if they're calling you, or Social Security.
Right.
They shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially if they haven't, if there's no open case, just say, you know what, thank you. If I'm going to go ahead and call the number that I know, just say, what is this about? Okay. Do you have a reference number? Okay, perfect. Thank you. I'm going to hang up now, and I'm going to call Medicare directly. And if it's legit, then the representative will say, yes, this was legit.
Exactly. Yes. Perfect tip there. Now, how can seniors recognize and avoid grandparent scams, where scammers impersonate family members in distress?
Now, we're seeing this a lot. This was even on CNN earlier this year, where we saw a grandchild basically calling the senior, the family member, and they were in trouble. They're saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm stranded abroad. I lost my wallet. I lost, my credit cards, etc. And Grandma, I need you to Zelle me, or I need you to wire me, or Cash App me, or go and do a gift card. Go to Walgreens and get me a gift card, and please send me, $200. I promise when I come back home, I'm going to repay you." And what the key word is that they always say is, please don't tell anyone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I was just going to say that, my husband is in retail, and he actually sees where a lot of the seniors go and they send money through like the Western Union and all this, and they just say nothing. They're like, oh, I just have to send this money out. And a lot of times they have found that, it's not legit. They actually don't allow them to send money because they're aware that it could be a scam.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. We're starting to see it more and more. But, you mentioned a key word, right, that you should be aware of. Do not tell anybody, right? Mm-hmm. That's key. Any other ways that they can avoid this?
Yeah. So, warning signs are if there's some type of sense of urgency. And just to clarify, too, the reason that they're doing gift cards and doing Zelle and doing Western Union is because once the money is out, that's it. There's no chargebacks. There's no going to the bank and give them a sad story. It's like giving someone cash and they're running away, as opposed to like if it's a credit card, you can call Visa, MasterCard and dispute it. So other warning signs is unconventional payments. One of the things with AI, which is pretty scary now, is that you can, and I know we've talked about AI and ChatGPT and all those things, but one of the things with AI is that you can all you need is 10 seconds of someone's voice, and you can literally be able to replicate that person's voice. Mm-hmm. So if, take Joe Biden, and you take 10 seconds of him speaking, and now I can call you with a special software, and you literally will think that it's Joe Biden on the other line, because we can have a straight back and forth conversation and I will be able to talk just like him.
Wow. I'm happy with how technology is advancing, but this is very scary. As technology advances, it's like we got to, be aware of these changes so we can, protect ourselves in a way. Because what if, I'm here, my voice is pretty much, I'm on the radio, it's everywhere, right? If they take my voice and say that it's Myriam calling, that's scary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So with that, especially if, your grandchildren or your kids are not someone that just all of a sudden calls to ask for money, or you normally should not be on the first list to be able where they want the money. Scammers, they rely on emotional reactions. So just take a moment to assess the situation logically, and do a callback as well. Do a callback, just like how we said with Medicare. Say, okay, well, I'm going to call you right back, and then from there, call the number that you have on file and just say, hey, Barbara just told me that there was a situation. She was in an accident. Is it true? And 10 times out of 10, that's going to be your way of knowing if it's a scam or not.
Yeah. So again, urgency, right? If you see that urgency, the don't tell anyone, the unconventional payment, right? If they're like, Zelle or Western Union, something like quick like that, and assess, right? Stop, and think about before you do something, right?
Yep, exactly.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for that. Now, what are Romeo scams and how do scammers exploit seniors emotionally and financially through these schemes?
All right, so this one is the saddest. We know later on in everyone's lives, things start to get a little more lonely, get less phone calls. And I saw this on the news the other day where a 74-year-old woman who's widowed really thought that someone, beautiful lady, and she really thought that the person that she was speaking to on the other line was actually someone interested in her. And as part of the news segment, they actually did an investigation and traced the phone number and traced the location, and it was this call center in Mexico where the FBI already knows that this area in this town, little city and village in Mexico are known to target Americans. And what basically a Romeo scam, or sometimes called a romance scam, these involve scanners building trust and emotional connection with seniors, often through dating sites, social media, or emails. And just like how the young people say, they slide in through my DM, it's the same way. The bad guy will say, start conversations. They'll look if you have social media and you like coffee, and then all of a sudden they're sending you messages. Oh, I love coffee too. And they're going to, not portray themselves as a 20-year-old bad guy. They're going to put up a picture of a similar age and similar demographic, and they're going to use flattery. They're going to use affection, emotional manipulation to gain trust. But one of the things that you're not going to see is that they're not going to really talk to you too much on the phone. There's always going to be a reason why they're only available a certain amount of time. There's always going to be a reason why they can't physically see you. They're always, and of course, they're always going to claim to be in desperate need of financial help after the relationship is established.
Wow, that is scary. I've actually had a few friends, say that to me, and it's and like you said, they target the seniors, where they're emailing them or texting them, and trying to get to know them, and then, like you said, establish that relationship first, right? Once they have you established, that's when the financial issues arise, right? Because I remember actually not too long ago, I received a text, oh, hey, what do you, are you going to be in town this week? And I'm like, who's this? And then they're like, whatever, I don't even remember the name that they used. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, you have the wrong number. Oh, okay. But are you in Florida? I'm going to be in Florida. Maybe we can, I'm looking for friends. I'm like, what? And then right then and there, I blocked it. Is that something that, that's what I did. Do you think I did the right thing?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what they do. They look for those little ways or common denominators to try to get in. And then once they get the conversation, and again, it's all about loneliness a lot of times, and if you're lonely and someone's actually having a conversation with you and your kids haven't called you in 2 weeks, but all of a sudden someone is showing interest, it's sad because they're with emotions now. They're stringing someone's heart along and, just pretending to share those similar interests or life experiences.
Yeah. These people are just bad. You can't, reply back to those text messages or click on those links that they're sending you. Because that's, I go back to that link because I get these a lot, actually. What can you tell me about that? Like when you get that text message and you don't even know who it's from and they're like, oh, click on this link. Should you click on that link?
No. So if you get any text message from someone that you're not recognizing, all the modern phones today, like smartphones, I should say, Android and iPhones, they have a little thing that says, this number has never messaged you before, and then you can report junk. And when you click on the little report junk, it automatically puts it in your block list so they can't call or text you. And then secondly, as you said with those links, be very careful, because especially if your phone hasn't been updated or you have an older model phone, there is something where, unfortunately, the bad guys are one step ahead of the good guys, and they can download malware onto the phone and be able to take your contact list, be able to take any sensitive information you have on your phone, depending on the type of vulnerability your phones have open. There's even one where they're sending pictures. This happened a couple of years ago, and Apple did an update, as soon as they found out about it. But people were sending pictures, and if you clicked on the picture, it downloaded a virus in the background, and that was on an Apple device. Yeah. So as soon as the bad guys find a way to be able to take advantage of someone, they will. And they know that, playing with someone's heart is one of the most easiest and more profitable ones out of everything we've talked about today.
Wow. And Andre, do you have a site where that gives awareness, or where can people get more information about you and your company?
Yeah, sure. So for our nonprofit, the Mavuno Project, and we're talking about seniors right now, but at the other side of it, we're also, with our children, are vulnerable, because they're playing video games, and they're putting their headphones on, and unfortunately bad guys are talking about, people are talking to our children as well. So we do all this through our nonprofit, and it's called the Mavuno Project, the Mavuno, MAVUNO Project, and that's .com, and all the social media. You can just search for the Mavuno Project.
Perfect. The Mavuno Project. You said the MavunoProject.com, or just the...
.com, yes.
Yeah. Okay. The MavunoProject.com. Perfect. And by the way, we are going to be talking to you and Tanya about the Mavuno Project coming up in the next show, which I'm excited to learn about. I wish I had more time, but we don't. And Andre, thank you so much for being with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Of course. So again, just to recap, make sure, just ways to protect yourself, guard your Medicare number, monitor your Medicare account. If you have access to it online, please just check, make sure that what you're being billed for is the correct amount or the right things, right? Be cautious with emails and phone calls. Use strong passwords for online accounts. Be careful with public Wi-Fi. Also, report fraud to 1-800-MEDICARE. If you see something suspicious, or something doesn't look right in an email that you received, or you received a phone call, make sure to report it to Medicare, and that number is 1-800-MEDICARE. If you have any questions, or you would like to learn more about what we talked about today, please reach out 561-464-2273. Andre, thank you again, and wishing you all a lovely weekend, and also happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for listening to Medicare Made Simple with Medicare Myriam right here on Legends 100.3. Medicare Made Simple is brought to you by United Insurance Experts. For more information, call 561-464-CARE. That's 561-464-CARE. Tune in next Saturday at 9 a.m. for more Medicare Made Simple with Medicare Myriam.